that incident in Lagos. Organizers of the impending nationwide protest scheduled for 1st of August have continued to engage with groups and affiliations, stating that they will go ahead with the plans to ground activities. In the last few days, we've seen President Bola Tinubu make fervent appeal to the youths, asking them to give him more time to address the issues for which the planned strike is being called. We've seen meetings upon meetings which have been held with key government agencies, including the Ministry of Information, Security, Intelligence, and the military, with the sole aim of guaranteeing that lives and property are safe. The federal government has also clarified the right of any Nigerian citizen to stage a peaceful protest. The military is reinforcing the message of peaceful protests and warning criminal elements to desist from taking advantage of the planned protests to unleash violence on unsuspecting members of the public. Director of Defense Media Operations General Edward Buba told journalists that the military is standing by to be deployed if the police is overwhelmed, and has warned that a state of anarchy will not be allowed to be the intended consequence in the course of peaceful protests, and it's capable of throwing the nation into chaos.
The level of violence being envisaged can only be described as a state of anarchy. The armed forces on its part will not stand by and allow anarchy to befall our nation. This is because we have seen wars and have witnessed anarchy in countries in which we have operated, particularly during the times of ECOMOG or during our peacekeeping operations in various countries.
We're here to deliberate.
Well, and governors from the APC have also held meetings appealing to protesters to dialogue and give the president more time to deliver on solutions aimed at enhancing quality of life as well as standard of living. Joining me now is crisis communication expert Chidi Omeje for more perspectives to this development. Mr. Omeje, thank you for joining us on the news this hour. The prospect is loud, and the reason for this protest is also out there. What do you think government can do in the days counting down to August the 1st?
Okay, thank you for having me. I just listened to the address by the Director of Media Operations at the Defense Headquarters. And his statement did not in any way ask Nigerian people or Nigerian youths not to protest. Just in the same way, the Center for Crisis Communication just about last week or two spoke about the same issue and said that the Kenyan experience should not stand as our model for demonstrations or protestations. I think the same vein the DHQ was saying that yes, Nigerians have the right, the inalienable right to protest when policies of government are not agreeable to them, but that they must draw a line to say there's a line between protest and then destruction. That we are not going to toe the path of destruction, because already we have the dearth of infrastructure, so we are not going to destroy the little we have. But to be fair to those who are planning the protest, they have not come out to say they are going to destroy it. I have not read where they explicitly said that they are out, or they are rather planning to destroy infrastructures or kill anybody. But you see, we must be careful about the words we use. For instance, some elements of those protesting or planning to protest have called it as day of rage, or rather, is it week of rage or month of rage? That's not appropriate. It's not about rage. It's about protest. If you say rage, you are bringing to mind destruction. You are talking about violence, killings, and stuff. I think it should be peaceful protest, and I think that's what the DHQ people are saying. That yes, indeed, Nigerians have the right to protest, but that they should not destroy anything. To me, that makes sense. It's in line with what the Center for Crisis Communication spoke to Nigerians about just last week.
So let us talk about what you think, because there's a reason why young people want to protest. There is high inflation. The food inflation is now well over 40%, and Nigerians are concerned about the cost of living and also the standard of living, so to speak. How do you think government can begin to, come out as addressing this beyond saying we are working on it, give us time? Do you think there are alternatives for government to explore as we speak?
Before I will say that, I think there's always a need for us to have what we call root cause analysis in some of these things. I'm referring to the dispositions of people in power, the affluence, the insensitivity, the wrong policies, the lack of preparations, the chaotic nature of policy formulation. These things have led, created impression in the minds of Nigerian people, especially the youth and the vulnerable. Of course, we are here when Nigerians, spoke against the insensitivity of buying 160 million naira worth of vehicles to members of National Assembly. But they stood their ground and still went ahead and bought it. Nigerians complained about the 90 million naira, 120 million naira, 120 billion naira BP resident. They still went ahead and do it. So, you see, this kind of insensitivity, this kind of, not caring about what people feel, it kind of angers people. It kind of say, those we put in power are living in affluence, they are living in opulence, and we can't even afford one square meal. So I think what government should start doing is to revisit their sense of understanding of what the plight of the people. You can't be living as if nothing is happening. Meanwhile, people can't afford the basic needs. So they have to come out very clear to let Nigerian people know that indeed they have they understood the mood of the people. We mustn't get to the Kenyan route before the government understands that this is a dire situation. Everybody's crying. It's not tribal, it's not ethnic, it's not geographical, it's not political. It is existential threat on people. So the government must look into it. You see, you cannot continue to ignore these concerns and think that they will fold their hands.
I hear you, Mr. Omeje, and it would seem that the concern of government is miscreants not hijacking the peaceful protest to foment violence. Talk to us about, the line between keeping the peace and ensuring that you're also not applying force to people who are on the peaceful protest.
Very important question. You see, each time we are told that protesters must be careful so that the hoodlums will not hijack it. Hoodlums come in different from both sides. Do you know that some interested parties sometimes they organize hoodlums to infiltrate otherwise peaceful protests and then give it that that cloak of violent protest. Meanwhile, those guys, the people who are out there in protest, are actually peaceful, but some elements were introduced into it to add violence to it. So this can be, of course, we know that some government officials often do that, and of course we know that there are very violent people who take advantage of any protest to begin to loot properties, kill people, destroy vehicles, and all that. So that is why this is where the police comes in. Professionalism of the police, or rather the law enforcement agencies, they have to guide the protests. They have to be side by side to ensure that the protests do not, go beyond the way it was planned. That is, the police or the military or whoever are not meant to stop the protest. They're actually meant to guide the protest. They're actually meant to protect the protesters. They're actually meant to make sure the protest is in line with the way it was planned by people. But you see, government must know at no point, or rather the military, I think the military must have learned their lesson, what happened in Lekki. So they must be very circumspect now so that they don't begin to, have image cases anymore. If they're going to be involved in this matter, they must be very careful so that, at the end of the day, they will not be the fall guy, the way they were in a Lekki issue.
Crisis communication expert, Chidi Omeje, thank you for talking to us on the news this hour.